Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the extended edition of the Sunday Paranormal Coffee Talk. I'm Nighthawk, your host. Eric's going to be busy working, so you're just going to get stuck with me today, everybody. But we got quite a few subjects to go over. We're going to be getting into a lot of different subjects. We're going to get into the 2008 Canadian Greyhound bus cannibalism type of a story. That was said to be a Wendigo, but boy, oh boy, you will not believe the information that I uncovered from investigating that one, which leads to my spur of the moment 7 p.m. Eastern Time podcast live for Friday night, which I wasn't going to do one Friday, but it's a coming, and it's going to be a lively one, trust me. Anyways, disclaimer is this channel, Nighthawk Strange's podcast channel, may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. YouTube. Seems like every day goes by, I put a podcast up that I have to fight to get them to not copyright strike it. So, YouTube, you're going to be mentioned quite a bit in this video. Alrighty. The disclaimer is Nighthawk Strange's podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content, including the music, which is from YouCut and Splice apps, editing apps, for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, which I love to do, and let's not forget entertainment value per Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. YouTube. Just so you know, YouTube. Alrighty. Let me get that off of there. Now, good morning, everybody. I'll get to the comments here in 1 second, okay? I'm still struggling a little bit this morning, but I'm doing better. We have got some information that I found out doing, got my list, doing the research on the Wendigo suspected cannibalistic attack in 2008 on a Canadian highway. I think it's the Yellow something highway in Canada, and in July of 2008 in Canada, on a Greyhound bus, where a young man was brutally attacked while he was sleeping and basically cannibalized. Sickening, very sickening. But the information I found out, I've got I tracked the history of that very, very person that was part of that did the attack. Okay, the assault on the young man. Let me say hi to everybody here real quick while we got it going. Jason, David, good morning. Kyle, good morning. Melissa, good morning. Dan, good morning. Bounty Hunter Bear, good morning. Yeah, you're not going to believe the information I found out. That whole Wendigo thing, it's amazing, and I probably should have thought about this sooner than now. But after reviewing and researching all the information I could find on the subject, that wasn't blacked out, and trust me, after 2000 and let me see, what was it? 2010, you can't find nothing really about it. Okay. Except bits and pieces. Okay. Now, what I will say is let me just read this to you guys. Okay. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, July 30th, 2008. A carnival barker. I guess that's the people that, work the game stands and stuff and try to get people, to come up and spend their money. A carnival barker named Tim McLean boarded a Greyhound bus to Winnipeg. Okay. He took a seat in the rear of the bus after a scheduled stop in a rest area in Erickson. A new passenger boarded the bus, a tall man in his 40s. Okay. Vince, I'm going to mutilate this middle name, Wei-Guan Lee. Yes, I said it. Wow. Vince Wei-Guan Lee. Okay. Hey, first name, good to see you. Summerside, good to see you. Ray, good to see you. Yes, he was Asian. Okay. I know there was some mix up back then about him possibly being Native American, which I have no idea why they thought that, but I guess that's how the whole Wendigo thing got started. Okay. And I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but when you find out what I found out, you're going to really put some dots together, guys. I'm telling you, this is going to blow your freaking mind. Anyways, he had a shaved head and was wearing sunglasses, but was otherwise average looking, not a person to draw attention. A few hours into the ride, he moved to the seat next to Tim McLean. Okay. And this is a few hours into the ride. Okay. On the way to Winnipeg. Tim was sleeping with his face pressed against the window with his headphones on. In other words, he was listening to music or something while he was sleeping. Okay, which a lot of us do. Even I do that. Yeah, Dan, I agree with you. Bath salts. That is a bunch of BS. Exactly. And we'll get into that Friday. Trust me. Oh, trust me. I'm going to blow the freaking whistle on some shit. Let me tell you. Fauci better wear his Depends because he's going to shit himself with my stuff that I found out. Ida, good to see you. All right. Anyways. All right. He said, okay, Tim was sleeping with his face pressed against the window with his headphones on. He woke up when Lee plunged a knife into his neck. Okay. That's the first thing that should make you question if it's a Wendigo attack or not. Because a Wendigo attack is going to use its natural born killing machine weapons. It's going to use its teeth. It's going to use its hands, its fingers. It's going to gouge and rip and tear. And, he's not going to use something that's man-made. Okay. Now that's just, for you all information wise. He woke up when Lee plunged the knife into his neck and chest. Okay. Although the bus driver and two passengers tried to save Tim, they had to flee the bus with the others and barricade Lee inside with the already deceased Tim McLean. Pretty tragic. Okay. And I have to tell you, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police really suck in this instance because they took forever in their sweet old time to get to the scene. And then they bartered on how to deal with a freaking psycho with a dead corpse in a bus. Put a freaking pew-pew in his brain. That'll stop him. I mean, come on, people. Jesus, it's not rocket science. All right. Anyways. Calm down, Bill. Calm down. 2001, in Beijing, China, a Canadian filed skilled workers plan permit to move to Canada. Okay, for her husband, which is this Lee character. Okay, so he's originally from Beijing, China. In that area. 2001 to 2004, nothing known about him at all when he's in Canada. Think about that. Nothing known about the man at all for 3 years. Okay, in Canada and in China. that tells me something very, very sneaky is going on. Okay. So let me continue. October 2004, Grant Memorial Baptist Church hired him as Lee as a night custodian, and he only worked for 6 months. Okay. Michelle, good to see you. Who else we got in here? I saw somebody else. Hold on. I'm not going to let you get by. Dan, good to see you. Ida, yep. Okay. I think that's everybody. Okay. And Ray, yeah, good to see you, Ray. Anyways, 6 months he worked for a church, a Baptist church in Canada, as a night custodian, which is kind of unusual to me. Okay. Which kind of leads to possibly something demonic possessing the guy to provoke him to do the Wendigo thing. It very well could be something supernatural, but hear me out, okay? Before we jump to conclusions. The summer of 2005, Lee found a job as a forklift driver for a company known as Midland Foods. And they were on Narve Avenue in Winnipeg, Canada. So he was in Winnipeg, Canada at the time, working for this Midland Foods, which is a pretty prominent known food company, as a matter of fact, because I've seen a lot of their stuff here in the States, which makes me not want to buy their food product anymore because of the whole cannibalistic employee thing. I don't know. Anyways, 2006, Lee left his wife, his Canadian-born wife, moved to Edmonton. Okay. 2007, Lee was granted citizenship on his own. In other words, he didn't have to be married to a Canadian citizen. He had full right and privilege to be a Canadian. Exactly almost to the day that he was granted citizenship, the attack happened. Think about that. 1 year to the day almost. Okay. 1 year. All right. Anyways, 2007, Lee was granted citizenship. July to April 2007, July to April 2008, he worked for Edmonton Distribution Company delivering newspapers. I mean, this guy had like a lot of different jobs, which, at those times, you had to, and I guess being not a citizen born here, he didn't know where to work. But the curious thing is his last known job, well, his last two jobs, okay, before the attack, in June 2008, he worked in Edmonton at Walmart. Okay. Maybe he was the store greeter. Hey, how you doing? Can I bite your face off? Who knows, But his last known job before the attack was he went back to work delivering newspapers. But at midnight July, something in July 30 or 29th at midnight snapped in him. Okay. He wandered his way and was said that he sold a laptop to a 16-year-old young man at one of the bus stops so he could buy a ticket to Winnipeg. Okay. Now, here's where it gets really bizarre. Okay. All the way to 2010, you can find little bits and pieces about the guy. Okay. After 2010, his name's changed, his identity's changed, and the charges were all erroneously dropped. You have to ask yourself why. Well, I think I figured out why, guys. And I think I figured out why they tried to pin it on a Native American legend from indigenous cultures through Canada and the United States. See, I've been saying for a long time now that there is a battle going on, good versus evil, and this is exactly the epitome of what I was saying, okay? All right. Did anybody know prior, probably during the 3 years of of Lee not being found anywhere in any type of records whatsoever from 2001 to 2004, Lee graduated, get this, Lee graduated from the Wuhan Lab Institute of Technology. Yes, the same Wuhan Lab Institute of Technology, the biolab that Fauci is a part of. Okay. Now that I said that, this is all over, over the whole thing. The Manitoba Criminal Code Review Board hearing gave him a new identity. Okay. I found out the identity, his last name and location. I'm not disclosing that because we don't need vigilantes going after this guy. This guy's getting ready to die anyways, so it doesn't matter if he isn't already or unalive himself, But his last name now is Barker, Baker. Okay. Which I found quite disturbing because the job of the person he unalived on the Greyhound bus, his job for the carnival circus was he was a carnival barker, the person that brings the audience to the games or to the displays or whatnot, for carnivals, okay, and the rides. So I found that kind of disturbing. I mean, don't you? They named the guy's new last name after the guy that he unalived job title was. And that to me it's kind of disturbing, okay? Yeah, I found all kinds of pictures of him. He looks like he's a demented POS, if you ask me, Summer. That's true. But yeah, he disappeared for little over 3 years. But at the same time, he graduated from Wuhan Lab of Institute of Technology. Could they have planted a virus? Now that's the thing. Could the Wuhan lab planted an unknown virus, a zombie virus, within his blood? And Camo Dad, good to see you. And could he have possibly had that in his system at the time of the attack? Now, depending on the longevity of the viral infection, which, his erratic behavior could contribute to that virus getting progressively worse within him. Okay. And God knows what other unaliving he did before this. Okay. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, Dan, I know. Yeah, it's definitely tied to Ukraine too. Very, very good. I'm glad you're in the chat, Dan. I found that very, very disturbing. We have these things that have been happening. They I think it was Dan or Kyle or one of the guys in the chat that said earlier on about the bath salts. Okay, how with the Miami or the Florida zombie attack back in, oh God, what was it? Let me see here. I think I got some of the information. Anyways, no, I don't. Dang it. Okay, I just got the other stories we're going to go over today. Anyways, could it have been a zombie virus? I believe so. I believe the Wuhan Lab Institute of Technology put something within him and probably several other students at the time that graduated from their institute. They do these things without any remorse towards the individual, without any concern towards the individual. Okay. Now, what I found out is astounding, but I'm sure there's more to the story, and we'll get into it Friday night. I'm still researching the whole lab connection, but you'll be surprised at what I found out. Okay. Anyways, the next story we've got, let me see here. Oh, and by the way, the Alaskan Triangle is a really, really interesting location, if you ask me. Um, from 1970 to 2023, I believe it was, 20,000 individuals went missing. 20,000. That's a lot of people in that little area to be missing in Alaska. Okay. Was it because of a magnetic, electromagnetic problem with people's, senses being off, their equilibrium, maybe causing them to fall while hiking and not being found again and being carnivized by wildlife? Very well could be. I would say probably 5%, maybe 10%. Are animal attacks. Then you've got the human factor. People like the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world, or that kind of a thing, or even the Lees of the world. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could probably chalk up 10% to that too. Okay, so fine. There's 2,000. There's 2,000 of the missing 20,000 that is accounted for. Okay, if you look at both of those ways, then you've got the possibly weird, paranormal, supernatural, cryptid type of a thing with 18,000 people missing. Now, we all know that there's documented cases involving Nome, Alaska, where people have been allegedly abducted and removed from their homes, and some have been brought back. And the ones that were brought back were very, very mentally disturbed. Um, one gentleman even, unalived himself and attempted to unalive his family. So, and one doctor that we know, psychologist, that was dealing with the issues for people there in Nome, Alaska, was very badly brutalized, paralyzed physically, from assaults from extraterrestrial entities. Okay, let's say unearthly type of things that were said to remove people from their homes in the middle of the night and float up into the craft. But I think it's more than that. I think this area of Alaska is kind of like the national parks in the lower 48 states and Canada too, by the way, folks. All my Canadian people that are listening, watch them parks, man. Don't go out by yourself. Don't walk away from your group or your friend and wander off any more than 100 feet by yourself, because that's how people turn up missing. And I don't think we need to feed the animal any more than what they're already doing to us. So, that being said, I think that Alaska, the entire state of Alaska, as a matter of fact, and national parks, whether it's Canadian or American, are testing grounds, are experimental testing grounds, are the majority of people that turn up missing are in those locations. Okay. And I do believe that it is a type of testing ground. And we all know that from, hey, Scott, good to see you. We all know that from Girl with a Gong, good to see you. Let me see here. Let me put up some of these comments here. I'm getting back to the comments here real quick, just so I can keep you guys involved. And not sure what you mean by yeah, 20,000. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And the fact of the matter is, you know, it seems to me like and maybe this is why things are going such screwy for a lot of our countries right now, with the people that are in control, or were in control, I should say, on the majority of it. um, I think there is a great awakening that's happening, and I think that people are starting to wake up and realize that they can't trust their governments, that they can't trust their politicians, that they can't trust um, really anybody that's in any form of control of the populace. I mean, look what, a certain doctor with the NIH did to everybody with the cough shot, you know? So, I mean, you tell me, can we trust them? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, thank you, Kyle. Thank you very much. Oh. Yeah, I just think that, it's one thing to man, there's a lot of comments. You guys are really going by fast here. I'm trying to keep up, but I can't do it. All right, hold on. Okay. All right. Okay. Anyways, it's everybody saying hello to everybody, which is good. Bad ETs and military connection. Yes, that's exactly what I was getting to. How many of you remember the three or four women that were walking on the railroad tracks heading into the backcountry of Glacier National Park by the Canadian border? And it was a video out several years ago concerning it, and it was um, where they wandered so far in to Glacier National Park, they came across train cars, box cars, and one of them had the door slightly open, like 4 feet open, and they looked in it, and inside the train car was shackles hanging from the walls in pairs, and ankle shackles bolted to the floors. Why do you think there were train cars deep inside a national park within the United States borders, that had those medieval ways of holding something, human or non-human, um, in place? They didn't find any signs of like tragedy or blood or anything like that inside the cars. But why do you think they would have those cars in the back countries on the railroad tracks in Glacier National Park? Well, let me put this suggestion out there: human trafficking. Now, that's just my opinion, okay? That's only my opinion, okay? Think about what Eisenhower did when he made the agreement with a non-human biological entity and said that they can have a certain amount of people every year to research, to study, to, well, let's just call it as it is, to mutilate. Okay. Why do you think they're finding bodies of unalived people and animals all over the place? I mean, they're finding them on top of telephone poles, for God's sakes, too, next to reservoirs, on the side of a road, miles from any known like town or cities or something, you know what I mean? Out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. They're finding this all over the place. All right. So that itself is disturbing. But you have to think all the missing planes too. Now this one that went missing, that was going from, oh, where was it? It was going from Juneau, I believe, to Nome. Get it? Nome, Alaska. Nome. There's Nome again. Imagine that. I think we should make that triangle a little bit wider, and maybe make the one connecting point Nome, Alaska, and not down by Anchorage, if you know what I mean. So I think it should be a wider triangle, to tell you the truth, than what they show in this diagram here. I think it should go all, this bottom left should go all the way over to Nome, make it a wider triangle. But that being said, they did recently find this plane and supposedly found the 10 missing people that were unalived because of the plane crash. But you have to ask yourself, what caused the plane to crash over open water? Okay. Now there are some mountainous ranges and stuff, but they're not really that bad around that area, per se, until you get a little further next to the land. Okay. It depends on how far from the shore that they were, that you would get the ups and the downdrafts from the wind, coming over the higher peaks and stuff. So, but I'm glad they found him. I'm not happy that they found him unalived. My heart goes out to their relatives, and their family members and every survivor. But we're finding more and more cases of that every day. If you take a look, early last year, there were several stories coming out about people freaking out in aircraft. Okay. People that were freaking out, saying they're not human, this plane's going to crash, I'm getting off. You have the whole oh God, I can't remember her name right now. It's on the top of my head. Tiffany Gomez. That was it. Tiffany Gomez was the first one. Okay. The second one was the British boxer. Can't remember his name. It's on the tip of my tongue, but anyways, the British boxer. Then you had the person, the woman, from Malaysia. Then you had the Chinese woman. Then you had the Chinese man. Then you had there was one other incident, and it all happened. There was like 6 or 7 incidences within the first 4 months of 2024. And now you have all these accidents happening with all these aircraft. After seeing all the weird stuff in the skies too, like during the eclipse and all that crap. You have to wonder, is there a connection? And, I leave this one up to you guys in the chat, and anybody listening after this is put out, to question it, to investigate it and see if you can make the connection. I've got a lot more researching that I've been doing, so I don't have time to do that one yet. But that would be an interesting one if somebody would take up on it, and then we could do a show about it. And I could, for once, interview you, So think about that. All righty. Anyways, I thought the whole Alaskan Triangle thing was interesting because, there is a certain percentage, I would say probably 25%, is due to wildlife or just mishaps of hiking, being unprepared while hiking in Alaska, which means, no bear spray, no emergency food supplies, water, type of thermal, coverage, no satellite communication, no beacon, no nothing, you have to, especially in Alaska, when you go out, you got to be prepared for the worst. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst. Okay. And the same with the national parks. Okay. But in the national parks, never, ever wander off by yourself because you will be one of the numbers that come up missing. It happens all the time. Okay. So that being said, that's my PSA for today. Okay. Anyways, how many people in in the show, in the chat, have heard about the holy stones of Ohio? I'm curious. I'm just curious to see how many people. Yeah, that's true, Summer. I agree. That makes you wonder. That does make you wonder. You know what, though? I'm not saying break the law. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying break the law. But when it comes to your own personal protection, you have every damn right to do what you need to do to protect yourself. Okay? And nobody has any way to dispute that. Okay? It comes down to the sanctity of your life. Okay? You know, my old man was a cop for a while, and he always told me that, if you shoot somebody at your front door and they fall outwards away from your door when they were trying to break in, grab a hold of them and pull them in over the threshold of your door. I mean, is that good advice? Probably not. Okay, it really probably isn't. Is that breaking the law? Well, I mean, it depends. The SOB's breaking into your home. God knows if he's going to assault your children, kill your pets, steal your what precious stuff you have in today's economy. You know, so is it bad advice? Probably, but is it right? I mean, is it actually the right thing that, when you're thinking about it to do? Probably, because then you won't get in trouble. But then again, you're only protecting the sanctity of your home, okay, and your family. So I don't begrudge anybody from doing that. So that's just my opinion, okay? Merely my opinion, not the opinion of the channel or anything else, okay? Just merely my opinion. All righty. Anyways, let me get into this a little bit more here. Yeah, it does make sense, Dan, that it's tucked out and away from being seen and stuff. I don't know, girl with the gong. I don't know if I want to go to Alaska, to tell you the truth. I mean, if I go up, I'm going to go up and see my buddy up there. So Alaskan Sasquatch guy. So he's a good guy. So, but that would be one place I would if I would go up there, I would want to connect with some people that I know through what we do here. So. All right, let me get through the rest of the chat. Okay, Ida says, I've heard that the state of Alaska pays citizens to live there. Yeah, it's like, well, you have to live there for, what is it, 2 years or 7 years? I can't remember. It's like 2 years or 7 years you got to live there and before you can get a payment. And it's like it's like you get, it's like a payment to where it depends on how much money the state makes. So it's like a percentage based thing, I guess, where it's like on the average it's like $10,000 a year, which is it's not chump change. So yeah, bad pup. We were just talking about that, staying away from the Alaskan Triangle. I was thinking that they need to make it bigger too. They need to expand it over to Nome, Alaska, where a lot of people turn up missing too. So, and a lot of weird stuff happens in the sky. So, but yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, actually, since 1970, bad pup. Here, I'll pop it up again. Here we go. 1970 to 2025, there's over 20,000 disappearances in the Alaskan Triangle alone. That's excluding the missing in Nome, Alaska. Think about that. That is just that little triangle area. So I think that they need to move that one shorter corner all the way over to Nome and make that triangle a lot wider. That's just my opinion, but they need to move it all the way over towards Nome and get that whole area in there, and then you'll see the real numbers jump up. It'll probably jump up to somewhere around 60,000. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, so, but yeah, that's amazing, the amount of people that turn up missing. But getting back to the Ohio stones, the holy stones. Okay, there was. Let me see. Let me put this up. They were discovered in Ohio between 1860 and 1867. Okay. Now, these holy stones were said to have the 10 commandments on it from God. Okay. Now, we all know from past podcasts that I've done, I've disclosed that even the state name of Ohio was named after a Dead Sea Scroll giant, Ohio. Okay. And there was actually a giant in the book of Giants and in the book of Enoch mentioned by that name. So that was pretty amazing to find that out. And now to find the holy stones were found in Ohio. Now, they had some Jewish rabbis come in, and they would confirm that this was legitimate. Okay, but within like 10 years or so after that, another scientist came in from, guess where, the Smithsonian, and said, oh no, they're fake. By the way, we're just going to take them and put them in our archives. So, yeah. I thought that was very, very interesting. They did have the 10 commandments on the stones completely. Okay. Yeah. David Wicks claimed to have discovered the stones in a cluster of ancient burial mounds near Newark, Ohio. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Makes you wonder the whole weirdness of America. The weird areas that I pointed out in the one video I think it was last week or the week before, hidden Egypt, okay, and the hidden Garden of Eden. And if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It's pretty interesting and very informative. But all the names, all the Egyptian names and the Hebrew names throughout the United States, the fact that Egyptian artifacts are found all over the country, including the Grand Canyon, who, by the way, is sectioned off by our government to hide the truth about our country. Okay? Why? What do they fear? That it's going to turn the world on its side? I don't know. I don't know. Makes you wonder, though. You know, the river systems in the Bible don't add up to the river systems in the current so-called Middle East. Okay. And by the way, the only reason it's actually sand over there when it's green everywhere else around it is because the ground had to have gotten to a temperature of over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Because when I was stationed over there, I could stick my hand into the sand and pull up little pieces of glass. Sand doesn't form glass unless it's a very, very high temperature from a nuclear blast, possibly. So that area of the country, of the world, was a battle zone at one point in time throughout history that we were never told. The history books don't talk about it. But then again, the history books are written by the controllers, not even by the victors anymore. The controllers, the, what is it? 15 families. Just putting it out there. Then you have to ask yourself, why is every American president related to every American president? Just saying. Did you know that Obama is related to Clintons? Did you know the Clintons and Obama are related to Trump? Did you know they're all related to the Bushes? And they're all related to, you guessed it, Mr. Bumbling himself. Why? You have to ask yourself these questions, people. I'm telling you, you have to question everything. You do. Okay? You just do. And this is why. There's no secrets. We don't have nothing to hide here. There's nothing to see here. Urso, good to see you. There's nothing to see here at all. Yeah, Russia will never disclose it. But if you think about it, the Delov Pass incident with the missing hikers that were found mutilated, that's pretty close to, that area of Siberia that is touching, or almost touching Alaska. So yeah, there is a lot of strangeness reported in Russia, for sure. Definitely. Yep. Yep. Very true. Hey, 2A carrier, good to see you. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm doing okay, as well as can be expected. Yes, girl, the gong, question everything. Thank you. So I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here. Wouldn't be able to do this without you, man. Oh, anyways, I just wanted to talk about this couple things because I thought it was very, very Thinker Thunker solved the Dolof Pass. Let me see that. Thinker Thunker solved the Dolof Pass thing. The arms of the Sasquatch were not human scale. Oh, you're talking the picture where it looks like the guy's wearing a ski mask? Is that what you're talking about? I'm just curious. Hey, Rhonda, good to see you. Is that the incident that you're talking about? The picture? God, I wish I had access to that picture. I would have popped it up by now. Um, let me see here. Let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find it and put it up here on the screen. Oh, yeah, me and my spelling's gonna try it. You guys know I suck at spelling. Come on. Oh, let's see. D. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm a trying. I'm a two-finger typer. That's why it takes me so long to do the research. Okay, here we go. Yeah, but where's the picture? Where's the picture? That's weird. Not showing me the picture. Okay, let's go to images only and see what happens. Well, come on. Did they take that picture off of here? Good Lord. Where is it? Makes me wonder. Okay. It's not letting me find the picture, guys. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, let me see here. Let me see how I can bring this up here. Copy image. All right, let me get out of there, come back to here, go to my media assets, and oh, come on, really? Oh, I hate this. Let's see here. It won't let me. Won't let me take the picture off the page because it's a Reddit picture. Thank you, Reddit. Okay. Anyways, let me get back to the comments here. Kyle, you being a bad boy. Yeah, Michelle, that whole thing, and that goes back to what I was talking about too, Michelle, with the whole the people freaking out on the planes, like that Tiffany Gomez. I just find it's very interesting, almost a year to the day, that they're having all these aircraft accidents and mishaps all around the globe, not just here in the United States, it's all around the globe. It's almost like they want people to fear traveling, think about it. If people fear traveling, it's going to be easier to implement 15-minute cities and 15-minute towns. It's going to be easier for them to pull off their agenda, the 15 families that are in control. There is so much crap going on right now, and they're trying to keep us. They're trying to keep us all so distracted with all this other BS that's going on that most of us don't see what they're trying to pull off in front of us because we're too busy looking at something else. It's the same thing that NASA does. The same thing. Look at our pretty rockets that we're sending up into space, but don't look over here and see what we're doing in the oceans. A lot of people don't realize that NASA was first founded to study the oceans and the depths. And to this day, they still are responsible for that. Okay. So, you have to ask yourself why. There's so many questions that we have the right to ask. It's just nobody's asking these questions. And now that we have this whistleblower protection thing and the whole disclosure thing happening, at the same time, you've got to ask yourself, why are they so willing to disclose the UFO stuff now? I mean, is it all part of Project Bluebeam? Is it all part of Project Popeye? Is it all project of, of some cover up? Hey, Tanya, good to see you. Okay, Jay, coincidence? I don't know, man. I don't know. Coincidence? I don't know. It could be. It very well could be. What was that? They had a fake Tiffany. Yeah, I know. They showed a fake Tiffany. You're right. Oh, Summerside, thank you very much. Thank you. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah, the whole even trying to make like nobody's disclosed what happened to that boxer. Remember the young man on the plane that freaked out and they literally drug him off the plane. They tackled him like he was an animal. And didn't hear anything about that for the longest time, and nobody's questioning it. That's the thing. Why is nobody questioning it? Yes, okay, you are right. There are no such thing as coincidences. Carl, good to see you. Candy, good to see you. Yeah, media is oh yeah. Man, Bad Pup, you got that one hit right on the head right there. Media is the biggest brainwashing tool there is. I'm right with you on that one, man. It is. It really is. And if you look at all the symbolism, even in the Super Bowl, I didn't even watch the Super Bowl. I didn't even watch the Puppy Bowl. So, I mean, it is what it is. The symbolisms in things nowadays that is getting out of control. It's ridiculous. So, but yeah, it really is. It's getting to be something. And it is weird though how they had that fake Tiffany Gomez come out. And but what happened to all the others? I mean, you had the Asian woman that freaked out. You had the Asian man that freaked out. You had the British boxer. You had oh, there was one other woman that was American that freaked out too. I can't remember her name. Oh man, what was it? I don't know. And then you had like somebody from Africa that was freaking out, South Africa. And then you have all these tragic events happening with the planes falling from the sky or their engines catching on fire and all that. You have to, we have to ask ourselves why. We have to ask the so-called, I hate to say this, the so-called people that govern our societies, which, if you think about it, every book that they removed from the Bible says in it basically that we need to question the evil governors. So, for us to to see that within a part of the Dead Sea Scrolls that was kept out of the Bible is saying a lot. They're wanting to censor this information for a reason. Hi, Stacy. Good to see you. Um, they want to. Roxanne, it's good to see you in there. Um, they're wanting to censor this information to us for some reason, and we have to ask ourselves why. What is so important that they're hiding? You know, I've got this theory. I've got a couple outrageous theories. You all know me by now, for God's sakes. Me and my outrageous theories. Oh, I'm just a crazy Indian, but I only say what the research tells me. And I do a lot of research. I do a lot of researching, and half the stuff I want to talk about is stuff I can't even bring out because I will probably be removed. Let's put it that way. Okay. David and Melissa, you know what I mean. Kyle and Urso knows what I mean. Roxanne knows what I mean. Eric, if Eric's listening, he knows what I mean. There's so many things that I want to talk about that I can't. And it's pretty sad that people like myself or other, investigators and researchers into the weird stuff that's going on are having to make disclaimers about how they're not suicidal, and all that, and the one thing that comes to mind is, what was his name? Phil. Oh God. Oh, if Juno was in the chat, he'd know. Phil, from the Mesa situation, underground bunker in Dulce, New Mexico. Phil, God, I can't remember his Snyder. Thank you, Kyle. Snyder. Yeah, Phil Snyder. They found him with a rubberized, like the kind of thing that they tie around your arm to draw blood, but it was thicker around his neck. Now, why would he strangle himself? You know how hard it would be to strangle yourself with that? You would literally have to somehow have it tied off to something on both sides and be able to breathe while you do it, but yet make it strong enough to strangle you. It doesn't make any sense. That's like the guy that that's like the guy that was found unalived that worked for a certain foundation to say, and he was a past president and she was a past secretary of state, if you know what I mean. I don't want to say the name because I'll get and I'll go to the principal's office. But they found him unalived, tied to a tree, a rope around his neck tied around the trunk of the tree, and somehow he miraculously shot himself in the head with a shotgun. A shotgun. I don't even know if that's possible. I can't even get my arm out that far. That barrel would probably be up here somewhere. Yeah, there's no way. Mm-mm. Wait a minute. I know. He used a pen. No. Come on now. Oh, he could use a stick. No, I don't think so. Thank you, girl with the gong. Thank you. I don't know if that's sarcasm or if that's actually that's funny, Kyle. That's funny. Of Question the narrative. Yeah, the ones that control the narrative control the way things are perceived in our world. That's for sure. But not only do we have to question the narrative, we got to question everything, literally everything. Yeah, Inspector Gadget arm. Yeah. Anyways, that's some of the subjects I wanted to bring up. That is just, it's crazy to think all the missing people in Alaska. And I do believe that we need to make the left side of the triangle. I think it goes to Fairbanks. I think it's Fairbanks. It might be Juneau. But anyways, that one side of the triangle needs to go all the way out to Nome and then see how many missing people they find within that geographical area of the triangle. I guarantee it'll at least double. It will at least double from 20,000 to 40,000. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. So, with that being said, if you can, guys, please like, heart, and share this out. I'm getting a short of breath, and I don't have a co-host with me, so I got to cut it short. But we've been at it for over an hour now, so that's good. You guys have a great rest of your day. It's a Tuesday, man. I'm so used to doing this on the weekends. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this again next Tuesday. Who knows? Maybe. We'll see. Okay. But you guys question everything. We have that right. Okay. We do. We have that right. It's a hard enough world to live in right now. It's hard enough to survive with all the bull crap that's going on. I mean, Michelle and Kyle and Summerside, Candy, you all know Bounty Hunter, Urso, Roxanne, you all know how difficult it is today. Okay. And that's one thing that's great about this chat. We may not have, the hundreds or thousands of people in the chat that some of these podcasts have. And we're getting there. We're getting there. But at least the ones that are in the chat are the ones that give a damn. Are the people that are, Mr. L, good to see you, are the ones that are there to help one another, to work with one another, to give advice to one another. I mean, I can't tell you that the hundreds of times I see people talking on in a chat about things in their own personal lives that, it does my heart good seeing that, it does. It really does. It makes me feel good that you guys are all working together as a family should. And, that's why we're called the Weirdo Warriors. We call ourselves the Weirdo Warriors for a reason. So I want to thank everybody for being here. And Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm coming on, and we're going to talk about that zombie virus. Okay. You might want to check it out. It's only going to be like a 30-minute, pop on, pop off type of a thing. But I'll be doing that. And then, of course, we've got the regular show for Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So at 11 a.m. Okay. Until then, guys, Robin, good to see you. Urso, Kyle, everybody, thank you. Roxanne, thank you. Summer, for the kindness, the love, the gift. That means a lot. That helps so much. You have no idea. You have no idea. And I will see you all Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. And like I said, it should only be about a half an hour, maybe at 45 minutes at the most. Okay. I'm trying to get it done before all the other podcasts come on. So, they have, enough time to do what they need to do. And you guys can go and check them out too, because I don't want to take all your time. But I thought these subjects today were just really, really fascinating. And it just kind of brings up all these other questions too. So, which means, Mr. L, question everything. Oh, girl, thank you very, very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyways, question everything, guys. You have that right. Okay. Keep your head down. Keep your eyes focused on the things happening around you, the way things are today. Like my good brother says on his podcast, stay frosty and stay strapped. You know, gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. I love my military brothers and sisters. It's awesome. So, question everything, guys. And if you need help, email me at lakotaman333@gmail.com. Okay. And we'll see you all Friday night at 7 p.m. Take care, everybody. God bless you all. Love you.